All right, I believe that we're live. All right, we're live right now. Look here, guys. Today we're going to be talking about leadership on steroids. Leadership on steroids. And my purpose in this teaching today is just to motivate you. I don't have any notes. So most of the time when I go live, I'm just talking straight out of my heart and just having a sit down conversation with you. And leadership on steroids is just simply your ability to lead as a person. But when I talk about leadership, I'm not necessarily talking about your ability to stand in front of people and be a CEO, or your ability to stand in front of people and be maybe a teacher or a preacher or something in that capacity. But I'm talking about really leadership is your ability to lead and govern, number one, yourself first. And remember, God's called everyone to be the leader and the captain of your own life. And the reason that's important is because when you become a leader in your own life, it's easy to help other people once you've actually taken time to help yourself. I remember years ago when I was so guilty. I'm going to tell you, this is something I really learned that really helped me to catapult into having several businesses and being successful in my life. But I remember when I would get revelation, when you get revelation or you get a certain level of enlightenment, you may read a book and you get excited about it. And right after you get through reading the book, you just want to go run and tell everybody what you've learned. You want to post it maybe on social media, and you just want to just share your revelatory revelation with everybody. But the reality of it is that's not really revelation. Revelation is when something is real to you and you've taken time to work it out in your own personal life. So a lot of times we get information and we get excited about it. I remember when I was younger, I would tell everybody all the stuff I learned, all the stuff that I've read. Oh, and I'm so excited about it. But the thing that I was missing is I did not walk in the reality of what I read. So it really was just information, and it was just an opinion because I haven't established that particular information as a fact, and it wasn't a reality in my life. So the purpose for you having revelation, and the purpose for you being enlightened as a leader, is for you to take that information and make it a reality in your life. If you're reading a book on starting your business, don't go out and share your dreams and your goals with everybody. Take time to make that revelation personal, where you begin to work it out and walk in the reality of it. And the reason I want to teach on leadership on steroids is in our country, we have a lot of leaders and we have a lot of people on social media that's putting on a facade, acting like they're doing all these different things. But the reality of it is most people are informed. Listen to me now, because if you have a lot to prove, that means you're probably not walking in the reality of what you're speaking. And so be real careful as you approach life. A lot of times you'll meet people that have something to prove, or they're putting on a facade. They're not actually living a real image. And we have a lot of leadership. We have a lot of people in leadership positions that are teaching people something that they have not experienced. And that's what I was guilty of years ago. I basically felt that God was telling me to shut my mouth and sit down somewhere. There's some things that you need to learn before you teach anybody. And I'm telling you, if you really go through that process in your life, you'll start to love yourself enough to understand you need to sit down somewhere before you lead people. And you need to get a revelation of the things that you're talking about and the things that you're reading before you enter into other people's lives. Jesus said the blind will lead the blind into the ditch. And so when I really started to become more transparent as a leader, I began to recognize that leadership on steroids first starts with your own personal life. Work on some things in your personal life. Work on your weight. Work on exercise, and work on your communication. Work on your delivery. Work on your ability to manage your money. These are all different things that are really good for us to improve our quality of life on. And then what we improve on in our personal life, we'll be able to give it to others. So many people are desperate to lead. So many people are desperate to get out on the forefront, because really the reality of it is, I believe a lot of people aren't secure with themselves. So they need that validation from other people. And so remember what I said today, leadership on steroids is when you become a leader. You're a dope person. You're awesome. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. Become secure within your own life. Become secure and move in silence. Learn to experience some things in your own personal life, and then you'll be able to give it to others. I remember, like I said before, I was so desperate in my novice years to tell everybody what I was doing and what I was reading and what God was speaking to my heart. But in reality, I did not have any of those things working in my life. But guess what? When I stop talking so much, Jesus says, what you do, do in secret. And I remember this. I started working on myself and working on producing results in my own life. So I began to see more results in ministry. I began to see more results in business. We ended up starting a company that ended up being worth 7 figures. And then I ended up starting another company that ended up being worth 7 figures. And those particular companies right now, including the ministry that we have, employ and contract with over 60 people. And so I'm very busy in my life right now. And I have a lot of people that I pay. I have people on staff. I have people that are on contract because I took some time to work on my dream. I took some time to work on my vision. And now I speak to many people every week. I have to encourage people. I have to interview sometimes. Sometimes we have to look to see if people are qualified enough to do some of the work that we need done. But what I did was I took time in my life to search for opportunities as a leader. And as I searched for opportunities, when I found those opportunities and I began to contract with different companies as it relates to music, I started to find other people that could help me to facilitate some of these contracts that we brought in. And so that's what leadership is. Leadership is recognizing that you're valuable, recognizing that you're dope, recognizing you don't have anything to prove. But if you want leadership to really get on steroids, what you do is you take time to manifest things in your life before you tell people what you're doing. When you tell someone what you're doing as a leader, it's not to brag and it's not to boast. But I believe in this day and time that we need more people that actually talk about what they're experiencing. The reason why we have such a void of leadership in this day and time is the majority of people in the depths of their soul, they have gifts, they have talents, but the reality of it is they're letting their gifts and talent take them where their character can't keep them. And when you really have character, a lot of times before you even decide to lead or even serve in a leadership position, you make sure that you're qualified and you make sure that you walk in the very philosophy in which you speak. And when you do that, you have more self-respect, you have more respect for yourself, and you have more respect for others. I see now, as a successful entrepreneur and even a successful minister, I see now why it's so important to be solid. It's so important to have substance in your life before you start trying to lead and tell other people what to do. Remember what Jesus said? He said, the blind will lead the blind into a ditch. So remember, when the Spirit of God, when the Holy Ghost, when God begins to give you revelation, when you begin to read and get informed and get enlightened, don't just go run out there and start sharing all that information with everybody. Take time to really work some of the things out in your personal life. And when you do that, you'll have more respect for yourself. And then other people will respect you even more. I know now I have a very powerful consulting firm. I also have a very powerful digital store. And then I also move within the realm of ministry. That's my heart. And I have a lot of different things that I'm juggling. But within those things that I'm juggling, there's a lot of things that are going on. And it blows my mind to even understand that I could be leading in these capacities with the companies I have. It's amazing. Some of the people that I meet, some of the people that I can sit down and talk to and we can dialogue. A lot of the people that work for my company and that I contract with, it's amazing. They're very smart. They're very intelligent. Even though I'm in a leadership position and I own these companies, a lot of the people are smarter than me as it relates to what I do. So I recognize that as a leader. I don't look down on people. I really believe that everyone is created in the image of God. And if you believe the best in people and you understand what your lane is and your position is, you'll value the people that are around you. God will put you in a leadership position when you're ready for it. But a lot of times people try to push them way. They try to push their way into positions of in titles. And a lot of times they're really not ready. I believe in the concept that many companies use. They want to see a resume. They want to see experience. They want to see qualification. I think that's really good. Sometimes we try to qualify ourselves, and sometimes we try to push ourselves in positions without being ready. So today I'm talking about leadership on steroids. And really some of the most effective leaders that I've met that even mentor me now and encourage me, many of them don't even want to be pushed out in positions, even though they're so qualified to lead, because it's their swag, it's their down to earthness. They don't have anything to prove. Their experience and their resume speaks for itself. So remember, before you network with people, before you get bamboozled by people that's going on Facebook trying to prove something, you have people that are genuine and real, but then you have people that don't feel good about themselves and they have to use social media as a platform to try to prove something. You know what I'm talking about. Make sure people have substance in their life. And the number one question you want to ask when you're dealing with people, because everybody has a dream, just like we all have belly buttons. Everybody has a dream, just like we all have opinions. You need to ask people to show you a resume. All right? Because it's easy to talk. It's easy to say what you know. But at the end of the day, show me the very reality in what you speak. Jesus said something in John 3:11. He said, we testify of what we know and what we have seen, and you do not receive our testimony. I want you to look at that in John 3:11. And Jesus understood who he was. He didn't have nothing to prove to people. Jesus understood he was God. Jesus understood he was dope. You know, when you're dope, you don't have to be famous. You know, a lot of times people don't realize being dope and famous are not synonyms. They're totally different. When you're dope as an individual, you're comfortable with who you are. Now, watch this. Now, if the universe and God decides to push you into fame, then you'll take it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, what really matters is that you feel good about yourself and you understand you have proven what you need to prove to yourself. And if no one ever knows about you, or no one ever knows about what you do, you're good with that because you understand you're a dope person. You're legit. You're dope. You're cool. You don't need validation from other people. And this is the type of leadership I believe that we need more, even within our country, within our businesses, within our school systems. We need more people that step into the leadership of steroids or leadership on steroids, where they feel good about themselves because they've taken time in their life to work on themselves. They've taken time in their life to work on their character, to work on their self-image. And whatever you want other people to know and experience, you first work on it in your own personal life. And then when you do that, I'm telling you, God acknowledges those that take time to prove things in their own personal life. Because now when you have a platform, you're able to really introduce to people something that's genuine, something that's authentic, and something that's real. When I'm talking about business and I'm talking about entrepreneurship, it's real to me because it's something that I live. It's something that I breathe. I invested $4,500 into a company. And guess what? That company became a multi-million-dollar organization off of a $4,500 investment. And I did this years ago, around 2011. And from there, things just start happening. We started another consulting firm and we've helped a lot of people. And I do a lot of this stuff in silence. I don't need a hand clap. I don't need a handshake, but I'm just sharing some exclusive information with you to help you to realize that there's a lot of people in your life that need to be told that they are leaders. A lot of times we don't believe in ourselves enough to step over into these categories of revelation, because a lot of times we're sharing information and we're sharing our dreams, we're sharing our goals with everybody. And a lot of times you're robbing yourself from being able to grow and develop because you're not using your energy and your focus to focus on those things that you're telling people about. Because what you want is you want things to come to pass in your life. That's the key. You want to be productive and you want to be fruitful in every area of your life. So remember what we talked about today. Leadership on steroids just simply means that I'm going to experience the reality of what God is showing me. I'm going to be revelatory within my own personal life, and I'm going to allow God to help me bring things to pass in my own life. And when I do that, I'll be a much more vital and powerful individual. And I help people come into a state of awareness and consciousness and help them to realize what their potential is, because now I speak from a place of knowing. I don't just speak from a place of having a dream and believing, but I speak from a place of consciousness. And now what I give and what I do have, I can give out to thee. And so I believe that that's what genuine leadership is that when you take time to really experience reality, you take time to grow and evolve. And what ends up happening is you have several testimonies. I could sit up here and I could tell you so many different experiences that I've had, and all the experiences wasn't good. There are many experiences that we fail at. When we're trying to discover ourselves, we're going to make a myriad of different mistakes. But at the same time, we fail moving forward, and we realize that God has put leadership DNA within us. And so we can always bounce back from any problem or any situation. One of the situations that I had is I got into a lot of debt. And I made a lot of mistakes as it related to the stock market, losing money. And in that particular situation, I had to really reach inside of me. And there's a certain part of your brain when you enter into a situation where you don't know what you're going to do. A lot of times your greatest blessings come out of fear. Your greatest blessings come out of turmoil, because a lot of times you activate a certain part of your brain that you never knew existed when you get in a situation or problem. And now my problems and my mess became my message. And so being in debt, having a car repossessed, filing bankruptcy. I went through all of that. But you know what? I bounced back. And all of those things that I went through made me more of an effective entrepreneur and a minister. So that's kind of the lane and the world that I live in. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm very successful at what I do. I love being able to go in people's lives and create value for them. One of the things that we do in one of my companies, it's a consulting firm, is we do a lot of consulting, but we also assess people's talent. We assess their gifts. I have an administrative team that we do a lot of research, and people that have ideas and that are innovative, sometimes we invest in what they're doing via video games or any type of computer programming intelligence that they have. We invest in their ideas and we partner with them. And I do a lot of these things that I love doing. And then I'm also into music. You know, I love music, but that's my experience. Remember, all of our experiences are going to be different. But what you have to understand is let God begin to work within your experience. Let him begin to work. You may be a medical doctor. You may be a lawyer. You may be a school teacher. God wants to get involved in your experience, but he wants you to cultivate in that world. He wants you to develop and to grow in that world. And as you understand the power of effective leadership, remember what effective leadership is. Before I speak to others about something, I'm working on it in my life and I'm improving my quality of life. I'm not so much into talking about myself to pat myself on the back or to make me feel good, but I'm sharing, even with me, I'm sharing the testimony with you to help you realize that when a person has a testimony, it started within their personal life and they believed in themselves. They didn't give up, even though they went through circumstances and situations. Whatever you're doing, don't give up. And eventually you'll be able to share your experiences. You'll be able to share your failures to help many people that are going down that same path, maybe deter and go down the path of success. So remember, when we talk about leadership on steroids, what we're talking about is before you open your mouth, before you start sharing all of your revelations and all the books that you read with everybody, take time and take a season of your life to become a leader. What is a leader? A leader is someone that believes in themselves and they go and work on themselves first. And as they work on themselves, they develop a resume in their life where now what they have, they can give it to others. So remember this, guys, you are a leader. God has called you to be a leader before the foundation of the world. And we use leadership momentum. We use leadership on steroids to first govern our life. We use it for our self-control. We use it for our attitudes. Let's control our lives first before we put ourselves in a position to lead others. And then when we lead others, it's going to be much more transparent. It's going to be more authentic. And you're going to build more successful relationships because now you've proven yourself to yourself. And now you deserve to be a leader within the atmosphere and within the universe. God bless you guys. Remember, leadership on steroids. Take it easy.